Thursday. I dubbed today True Crime Thursday. Decided to try something different. I did say I was going to speak about true crime a little bit, and I found the perfect subject to talk about. What is up, everyone? How's it going, Tammy, Carol, Gunner Girl, Rochelle, Bernadette, Julissa, Chris, Dusty? How's it going? How has your week been? Did you guys do anything interesting while we wait for people to trickle in? Emily, how's it going? Did you guys, since it's spooky month, spooky season, have you guys watched any horror films? Jennifer Marie, how's it going? Julissa goes hot. Yes, we've been hot. I mean, not hot, probably comparable to Arizona, not hot. We were in the 90s, but it's still hot considering the last couple of weeks we had nice weather. It looks like it's going to continue throughout the weekend until about Tuesday here in SoCal. I'm pretty sure it's the same up north too as well. Wendy, what is up? Jennifer's watching Joker 2 this weekend. Chris took her car in to be fixed. $3,600. Oh my gosh. I feel you. Hopefully the insurance covered it. Hopefully. Matthew with the hello. What is up, Matthew? Emily goes every day, but I'm watching Apartment 7A. How is it? That is on my list to watch. I still need to watch because now Pooh, Blood and Honey is on Peacock. I have not seen it yet. I decided to catch the Mousetrap film, which is also on Peacock. Let me tell you, great idea, terrible execution. And that is all I'm going to say because I know some of you haven't seen it, but it is on Peacock. If you do have it, it's called Mousetrap. It does use Steamboat Willie's likeness, and it does show a bit of the cartoon in it as well. Now that Mickey, Steamboat Willie, it's not Mickey, is no longer is open domain. Wendy's asking where is 7A? 7A is on Paramount Plus. Emily goes, it's taking a while to get into. Emily, did you see Rosemary's Baby? Because I know it's a prequel to that. Is it similar, like the story pacing wise to that? If you've seen it, Chris goes 1,000 out of pocket. I feel for you, Chris. That's horrible. Especially when it wasn't your fault. Somebody took your vehicle. That would irritate the hell out of me. Gunner Girl, what is up? Wendy is planning her spooky Manny. That sounds cool. Lisa Boo, what is up? Emily goes kind of. Okay. Just so I know what to expect when I watch it. Also, too, I think it's on Peacock as well. It doesn't come out until next week. I believe on the 10th. I thought it came out this week, but it's next week. James Wan produced series called Teacup. It's a horror one as well. I'm going to catch that when it comes out. I'm looking forward to that. I saw the trailer, but sometimes the trailer can deceive you. It looked pretty good from the trailer, but being produced by James Wan, I hope it does not have those jump scares that the Conjuring universe is known for, but I will give it a chance. It does look interesting. There's also Salem's Lot came out today. I have not been able to catch it yet. It's on Max. Stephen King from his book adaptation. And then also, if you guys are a fan of the VHS franchise, I know every year they come out with one, and every year I watch one. I think last year it was VHS 84, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This year it's called VHS Beyond. It comes out tomorrow on Shudder. That's probably what I'm going to hit first. Wendy goes, do you think Peacock is worth it? Wendy, a lot of the crazy thing is, Wendy, a lot of those give you like a week trial or a couple day trial when you sign up. And if you're tricky and you have more than one email address, you can keep it for longer. You did not hear that from me. I don't know about Peacock, but I know a lot of them do have trials, a couple of days, a week, whatever it may be. So maybe that's your best bet. And usually, sometimes what I do, and you did not hear it from me, guys, I will put in a different email address to expand it. Dusty goes, I saw Rosemary's Baby in the theater when I was 17, not remembering much of it. I saw it recently. I just know it's a M, it's a mind F as I call it. It's more of a psychological thriller because you're going like, what the hell's going on? Like type of thing. I didn't feel like it was scary when I watched it. Maybe back then, maybe it was, but when I watched it, when it came out, it might have been scary, but when I watched it, it was more like, what the hell is going on? It's like Suspiria. Suspiria is kind of that too. It's Suspiria is an M, a mind F. And same way. I watched both of them. I watched the the remix. Oh my god. The remake and the original, and they're both about the same, to be honest with you, if you guys haven't checked out Suspiria. But I'm not a huge D'Argento, I think, did Suspiria. I'm not a huge fan of his. If it's D'Argento. Yeah. Dario Argento. I always say D'Argento. And I know there's people that are a fan of his, but I'm not like I'm not a big fan of his. But then again, the only movie I've seen of his is Suspiria. Chris Barber goes, I remember when Peacock was free. Chris Barber goes, they remade. Yes, they did. They remade Salem's Lot. It is on Max. It came out today. I saw it on there. Bernadette goes, I heard there might be a Constantine 2. I hope so. But I know a lot of people are a fan of the Keanu Reeves Constantine, but I am not. I'm a fan of the Matt Ryan. I want to say Matt Reeves. Oh my god, what am I thinking? Batman? Matt Ryan's Constantine, because he looked more like the comic book character. He looked exactly like the comic book character. But I did heard that too, but I'm not sure. It's been said so many times that I can't believe anything that's out there anymore. So it's kind of one of those things, I'll believe it when I see it. Matthew goes, I did not know this. Peacock is still free. You just can't get the new movies and shows on the free version. I did not know that. Tyrana, what is up? How's it going? We're going to wait a few more minutes for people to trickle in before we get into the nitty gritty. I also saw that Sam and Colby, Lewis's favorite paranormal investigators, they have a movie or something out, or that's going to be out. I kind of have an article. I kind of, kind of proof, like went through it real quick, but YouTube stars Sam and Colby talk Legends of the Paranormal Cinemark release expansion exclusive. This came out on October today. I kind of came across it by accident. I think because I follow the Paranormal Files on Instagram. I don't really watch his stuff. I just follow him because I like some of the the little shorts that he puts out. Paranormal investigator Sam Goldbach and Colby Brook, I never knew what their last names were, have already conjured YouTube success, scaring up more than 13 million subscribers on their popular channel. Now the spirited duo is chasing another elusive goal, becoming movie stars. Goldbach and Brock, Sam and Colby, what they are known by, made their first foray into the theatrical space a year ago when they released an episode of their series A Week at the Conjuring House in October of 2023, which I did not know, but I don't really watch them. 2 days before its YouTube premiere, the sneak was shown in 168 Cinemark theaters across the US. I guess it's like a normal show, but they just show it in the theater. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've created feature-length videos for YouTube. Goldbach tells Variety, it's cool. when you do those things, because a lot of times when they do these videos, it takes them long hours. And lucky for them that those long hours pay off, because for some of us, we don't get, we spend, there's a lot of us. It's not just, I feel for those people that, other YouTubers out there that they spend hours editing a video and they don't get recognized for it. But luckily these guys do. We approached Cinemark last year to see if we could put one of our YouTube videos into theaters to basically have a test project, like a proof of concept. After immediate sellout, they charted a course for their next project and thought even bigger. The duo's new 97-minute film, Sam and Colby, The Legends of the Paranormal, is heading exclusively to theaters, but this time on a much larger scale. We went to Mount Wilson's Ranch in Nevada, and we were in search of something completely different: cryptids, skinwalkers, and aliens and ghosts as well. Brock says the film, we've never stepped into that mythical realm or world with our fan base, and so it's going to bring like a whole new light to Sam and Colby and the adventures that we went on. While The Legends of Paranormal was originally scheduled for a 3-day limited window across 260 Cinemark screens, overwhelming fan demand prompted the movie chain to expand its release plans to 350 screens for a full week schedule beginning October 3rd, which is today. After the first weekend of sales, they called us. Brock says, we are so grateful. Brock, I think it, yeah, Brock. If sales continue to impress, Goldbox says Cinemark has shown interest in screenings the film for the entire month of October. While Hollywood hasn't always taken YouTubers seriously in the film space, the duo says their built-in audience and ability to bridge the gap between film and online concept puts them on the precipice of a major breakthrough for influencers. This is the new form of entertainment, especially for younger audience like Gen Z, Brock asserts. I think I don't think they're gonna have like a movie. Probably what they're thinking, but what they're doing is kind of, I guess, the next step. I guess there's I don't plan on watching it, but I guess there is a fandom for it. I know some of you are fans of Sam and Colby. Adds Goldbach. Everyone is set in their ways in traditional media, so they are just wanting to see what it's like for the YouTubers when we come through and do things like this theatrical release. I have no interest. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think it's going to be until people like Colby and I do these releases over and over and over again and have the same selling power that the traditional media has, that they will finally believe in YouTube's the real thing. While they got to celebrate their Legends of Paranormal success with a splashy premiere at the TCL Chinese Theater, Goldbach and Brock are already, that's almost like Goldbach and Brock are already looking ahead for how they can up the ante next. This is hopefully the very, very beginning of the journey. Goldbach says, we have already have talks of the 2025 movie. Brock hopes that when time and elbow grease films like theirs can become the new normal, give it 5 or 10 years, and then everybody will understand. I don't consider what they're doing like a film. It's more, I would say it's more documentary. So I don't consider that film. It's because they're going to places and investigating. So to me, that's more of a documentary type thing than film. Which is nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of documentaries out there that have gotten hype over the years, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I personally, I'm not a fan of them, so I personally have no interest. So it's kind of like crazy that to see that they had something going on at the movie theater, and I was like, what? Chris Barber goes, since they are young, do they have a young audience? I think their audience is all ages. Jennifer Marie goes, yes, but I'm also almost 35 and a huge fan too. So also no. Yeah, that exactly. I think it's any age. It's not just the Gen Z or the early, I want to say Gen Zs, but I don't even know what generation we're on. To be honest with you, I don't even know what generation I'm part of. I don't follow that. But I think the younger audiences would probably more likely go for it. But then, like Jennifer Marie says, she's a fan. She's not young. Well, I mean, she's young, but I mean, she's not a teeny bopper type of person, is what I'm saying. Um, because age is just a number, but she's not a young teenager. There you go. I'm gonna put it that way. I didn't mean to say it that way, but and she's a fan, so it's everyone. Wendy goes, I'm from Massachusetts. Wish I would have explored more. Massachusetts is like a plethora of hauntedness. Wendy. Jennifer Marie is definitely going to see it. Wendy goes, define the difference between film and documentary. Well, my idea of a film is like something like a movie, like Joker, like Batman, like a horror movie could be a film, even though some of them are B movies, low budget, and you can tell they are. But like that, a documentary, something about where you're on the search for answers about something. Like it could be you're investigating a building, you could be a documentary about, heck, I'm gonna go there, the Menendez brothers, since I may be talking about it, stuff like that, where you go to like what where they might show up at, the Menendez home, which I heard they have a big gate around it because I think they're doing renovations, the new owners, and there's a lot of hype around them right now because of the Netflix series. So something like that, where they would go to the house, then go tell the story, like the backstory of what they're investigating, tell their side of the story, maybe get interviews with the Menendez. They're in a jail in San Diego currently. They first were separated, and then after 30 years they were reunited with I think it's Donovan Correctional Facility. Like maybe you would go there and talk to them. Like that's what I consider like a documentary type thing. Film again, Joker, Batman, like Pearl Harbor, uh Rosemary Baby, since we were talking about it, like even the series type of thing. I feel like even like Apartment 1A, even the ones that go to cable are still considered something like a film. Nerd Report's in the house. Jennifer Marie, you did not know. I know. See, Jennifer Marie, I stumbled. See, I changed how I said it. I didn't mean to say it that way. I mean like a young, like, like a teeny bopper. That's what I meant. That's why I just need to put a sock in my mouth before I make it worse. Bernadette goes, what they are doing is releasing it in theaters only, not going to be on YouTube. But Bernadette also said, but they said that last Hell Week, so they might put it on YouTube, just not as long. Jennifer Marie goes, we know, at least we're just teasing. But I feel like where they want to go is it's always going to be considered a documentary. It's not going to be considered a film unless they do a film about their life type of thing. Then I would think like that would be a documentary film. Nerderberg goes, no one cares. I don't really, but the fact that they did that, I was surprised. That they actually had something like that. Nerderberg goes, it'll make $2. Jennifer Murray goes, they'll make 8 at least off of me. Ah, the hell am I going on? Thank you, Heather, whatever, for your PayPal hearts for Heather, whatever, guys. Thank you, Heather, whatever. You are awesome. Always good to see you in the chat. Always good to see all of you in the chat. Bernadette, if you only knew how much they made last Hell Week, smart. Jennifer Marie, I kind of agree with you. I wish movie tickets were only $2. It'd make life a lot easier, but everything's going up. It's just the sign of the times. Nerd Report goes, there's horror film festivals that are going on this month. I did see one. I think Blumhouse had one where they were showing Blumhouse films. If you were a fan of Blumhouse. Dusty, I have not been to a movie theater, because in a while where I had to pay for tickets. So I do not know what the price. I've heard that the price can be upwards of, depending on where you go, it could be like 20 bucks. I've heard that. I've heard 25. I've heard people paying like 40 plus for their family to go to the movie. So it's crazy. Nerd Report, I do agree, real talent there. And I know there's other horror fests that do go on this month as well, but the one that I've seen recently was Blumhouse. Bernadette goes, did you ever get your alien bucket? No, because it's overpriced. Because you can't get it sold out. Because I didn't know you could buy those buckets online from the theater themselves at regular price. Now it's sold out. And now if you go to eBay, there's people that are greedy and trying to make a buck, and they're selling it for over ridiculous amounts of money, like quadruple the price. Emily goes, I haven't gone to the movie theater since The Possession came out. Rochelle goes, definitely better to invest in your own home theater if you can. I do agree. I'm kind of the watch a movie on the couch kind of girl. I kind of prefer it because then you don't get the person in front of you on their cell phone that they have to absolutely text that person that moment the movie starts. So all you see is their phone screen, and that's where your eyes divert to. Or you get the guy behind you kicking your seat. Or the best, you get somebody talking throughout the whole movie about their boyfriend that they don't know if they're still with. They're like, oh my. So yeah, that's annoying. Like, I don't need to know about your boyfriend that you don't even know if you're still with him. Heather Whatever goes, I haven't been to a theater in a while either. I went to drive-in movies during the lockdown with my middle son and his girlfriend. Those are the best. The drive-ins. Julissa goes, I go to Cinemark on Tuesdays and movies are $6.50 with the club membership and $8.50 without. That's not bad. Tyranna goes, we have $5 Tuesdays. I know. I think AMC has the same deal too as well. Chris Barber goes, last movie I watched in the theater was the last Star Wars movie. It was 15 bucks. Wendy, I'm glad I'm able to take you away from your situation, but I hope that it gets cleared up. I know it's kind of bad over there in Tennessee. I know Tennessee was hit pretty hard by the hurricane, as well as North Carolina. In fact, they were showing on the news, there were people just standing and they were inside of a house, and the water was literally all the way up to here on the people, and they were trying to keep their animals out of the water. Rochelle goes, I to be fair, I kind of tend to be the one of those, but Rochelle, to be honest with you, you're in the back. I won't see you. So Rochelle says, to be fair, I kind of tend to be one of those who lights up my screen when the movie starts. However, I do sit in the back so nobody is behind me to disrupt. Nerd Report goes, I can't. People think it's okay to talk during a movie. Exactly. That's why I was saying about the girl talking to her girlfriend about what her boyfriend did that day, and they don't even know if they're still together. I don't need to hear that while I'm watching a movie. Jennifer Marie goes, our Cinematic theater has lounge seats, so we don't have any of those issues. Bernadette goes, a theater cocktail's 12 and then a box of wine is 14. You do the math. Of course, it's definitely, I mean, the theaters have to make money somehow, so they buy the supplies and then they have to make some profit, so it's understandable, especially with the sign of times. Emily goes, I miss the drive-ins, bring your own snacks and you get 2 movies. I do too. I think the one by me closed. They stayed actually they were supposed to close earlier, but because of the pandemic, they stayed open a little while longer, but then ultimately succumbed. It's me, Kenya. How's it going? Chris goes, we were lucky. Friends of mine right down the street lost a huge tree. Oh, wow. Nerd Report goes, the movie experience has just become trash. I agree. And Matthew, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Typically, you go to the theater to get away from such crap life things. Exactly. That's why I go. Or that's why I watch a movie. You want to forget about your stress. Gunner Girl goes, the AMC here has a bar so you can drink anywhere in the theater. Jennifer Murray goes, no, Lisa say it isn't so. That drive-in is gone. Yes, it is. I don't know if the Mission Tiki. I don't know if I mean, I know you're from this area, or you were from this area. It was the Mission Tiki. I think it closed down a couple years ago, maybe 2 years after the pandemic. If I'm mistaken, it might have been longer than that because something seemed like it was just yesterday. Bernadette, I was able to go to one of those, what do you call those motion ones, where you watch the movie and the seat moves. So she goes, I like the vibrating chairs. Brandon, what is up? Rochelle, saying you could get a projector. That's true, as long as it's dark out and you have like a wall or you put up a curtain. I know some people use a sheet. Sometimes they go in their backyard and do it. That's a kind of thing you could do. Dusty goes, when I was a manager at our local theater, we didn't make money on the movie prices. That goes to the distributor. They only make money off of the treats. So the snacks, your popcorn, your soda, your candy. Jennifer Maria goes, I'm still from your area in heart, spirit, and soul. My physical body just isn't. Matthew only has a CMX theater or Cobb, or it used to be called a Cobb Theater in his area. Bernadette is over there at my Twitch. If you guys, I am trying to get 50 followers, not subscribers, it's followers over there. It's weird because Twitch is like completely different than YouTube. Like they have like these weird commands that you could use. So it's kind of weird how things go over there. Similar, but kind of different. But Bernadette is over there. If you guys prefer to use Twitch, I am also streaming on Twitch. Bernadette dropped the link in the chat if you guys would like to follow me there and have Twitch. Jennifer Marie goes, the PTA for my high school is hosting a movie night, and we suggested Hocus Pocus, and it got turned down because witchcraft is controversial. Oh my gosh, really? And how's it going? And thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, AMAC, Angie, Alyssa, Matthew, and Dusty. Welcome the new and returning Wolfpack members. Hearts for Anne. Thank you, Anne. Anne, you are awesome. That's okay, Heather. Whatever. I know you're there in spirit. And I know when you get that squared away, you'll definitely be there. And thank you again for another 5 memberships. And welcome, Wendy, Tyranna, Gunner Girl, Delea Lux, Benny Ben, to the Wolfpack. Welcome, the new and returning Wolfpack members, and hearts for Anne as well. Thank you, Anne. Anne, thank you. You are awesome. If I had confetti, you would get confetti, Anne. I don't have confetti. And we. What is up? I like crypto. How's it going? Jennifer Marie is like, how are you going to choose a spooky season movie for high school age kids and not have some aspect to be controversial if Hocus Pocus witchcraft is too much? Exactly. Pocus is like the least. Seriously. Thank you, Anne. I do appreciate it. And I've been busy with my dad, but love catching you on the replay. Thank you, Anne. Thanks again, Anne. Thank you as well. I like crypto. Great. Love the show. Watching it while working. Chris Barber goes, I've never seen Hocus Pocus. I think I've seen it once, but it's kind of more, I mean, it's a cult favorite, I would say. But I don't feel like it is spooky season, but I don't feel like it's appropriate for school. Randy, how's it going? All right, guys, I decided to change it up a bit. I do still have spooky. I still had spooky to talk about, and I do have some. But I wanted to change it up a bit. I did get a chance to watch Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez trial. It's something. If you were in the LA area, you definitely remember the trial. I do remember it in high school. Though the crime didn't occur, the crime occurred in 1989. And so when I rewatched, I was like, wait a minute, I remember it in high school, but the trial went on. Um, I did have some concerns with the monster because I felt like the monster show that's on Netflix. It is on Netflix now. If you guys have not seen it and have Netflix, go check it out. They also have a monster about Dahmer, which I felt was better than this one with Eric and Lyle Menendez. I felt the Dahmer one, even though I know some of these things take liberties, but I felt like the Dahmer one was truer than the Lyle and Eric Menendez one. Because of the liberties. So I didn't enjoy it as much as Dahmer. I do know the next one that they do have planned is going to be about Ed Gein. And I know a lot of people felt that too. They felt like the Ryan Murphy, they did take liberties with it, and I felt like a lot of the things they painted one of the brothers like they painted the older brother Lyle in the Netflix series. They painted him as a spoiled brat. They also painted him like he manipulated his brother, his younger brother, which is Eric. This is what I got out of it, and this is what I saw, and that's how I felt about it. I felt like they painted Lyle as a spoiled brat that felt like he was untouchable, he was entitled, he was this, like very, what do you call it? Can't think of the word right now. Um, entitled. I know I said that, but there's another word. Um, not. Oh, I can't think of the word. But then Eric, they painted him like like Lyle would bully him, would do this. Like Eric was like the quiet one type in the show. So I have a hard time believing what came out of that show. I do know that I believe in October 7th, they do have a documentary type one coming out on Netflix. And I think it's because people were complaining about the monster one. So to try to cover that up, they decided to come out with another one. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Menendez brothers, and I'm sure everyone's heard of it. They were convicted of the crimes of the 1989 murders of their parents, Jose Menendez and Kitty Menendez. They first said that uh, it was the mafia, and I do have an article that I could talk about it with. Wendy goes, Eric was the spare. Randy goes, I heard about it in New York. I think it was a big deal at the time. Emily goes, any documentary, I've seen it on them, painted it that way. Matthew goes, mentioned it before. They are the reason we never got Fright Night 3 because their dad was in talks to do it until they did what they did. Jennifer Marie, they did, no, they do, they've also claimed, and that had been their thing throughout their entire trial, that they were, SA'd by their father. And it also had showed in that documentary, or I don't even say series. I felt like that wasn't really a documentary, but in that series, they also said that the father was also SA'd by his father. I don't know. And again, the Netflix show is very loosely based, or I felt like it was loosely based. So I felt like they added things just to add to their story. And I do know, like I said, they are coming out with one October 7th, which is Monday, which actually interview the brothers who are in Donovan. I believe it's Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. That's where they reside. The only reason why I am talking about them today is, and I will mention it in a minute, is because the district attorney here in Los Angeles, if you guys are familiar with him, Gascon, a lot of people don't like him. I personally don't like him. I feel like he's been giving, that's why crime is up, but I believe crime is up everywhere as I'm seeing. But crime in Los Angeles has been up. It seems like even in my little town here, there's a burglary at least every day. Someone's getting their house broken in, a business is getting broken into, because I believe that they're just giving them a slap on the wrist for crimes that used to did not get a slap on the wrist. I did not know this. Gascon is from Cuba. Um, if you're not familiar with him, let me show you who he is, because I know some of you aren't from the LA area, so you may not know who he is. Show a picture of him. It might that here's Gascon. He's pictured here. He is from Cuba. I did not know that. Maybe that's the reason why he might be lenient like he is, because he did come from a I don't know if he grew up there. It does show that he was born there. So but I do know people that grew up in Cuba and what they went through. So I feel like maybe that has influenced his decision. There's even an article where he let someone go. It was a 16-year-old, I believe, and that 16-year-old committed another crime and ended up back into the thing. So he's kind of gotten backslash about that. I get it. There's some people that do get go to jail and they do learn their lessons, but there's some people that don't and will be that, career criminal. And there's a lot of people that do not. That's the first name that pops up whenever there's crime. They're like, don't vote them back in, don't do this, don't do that. So Ozzy Walks, what is up? And there's a lot of people that think the Menendez brothers are innocent. I've also read a lot of the comments under the social media posts because Netflix has been advertising, their show obviously to get views. So I've read the comments, and there's a lot of people that believe that they are innocent. I am 50-50 because I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like I need more I feel like I need more information. It's kind of hard to believe because there's only one side to the story, unfortunately. So it's hard to believe the story going on. You even have Kim Kardashian, believe it or not, that advocates for them. In fact, I think she visited Eric in prison, which I do have an article. And believe it or not, this is on NBC News. This is written by Kim Kardashian. And if you're not, I know everyone knows who Kim Kardashian is. Her father was Robert Shapiro, I believe. Watch, I got it. Oh no, Rob Kardashian. Why am I saying Robert Shapiro? Robert Shapiro was part of them too. Rob Kardashian wasn't part of them, but Shapiro was part of the O.J. Simpson trial, which was also Kardashian. She wrote an article about the Menendez brothers. Kim Kardashian says it's time for the Menendez brothers to be freed. The only reason why they're back in the news, of course, is because of that Netflix series. We are all products of our, and this is written by Kim K herself. That's why I was like, she wrote an article? I'm so mean. We are all products of our experience, the shape who we were, who we are, and who we will be. Physiologically and psychologically, time changes us, and I doubt anyone would claim to be the same person they were at 18. I know I'm not, which it's true. I'm not the same person that I was when I was a teenager. And like I said earlier, some people do learn from their crimes, some people don't. You think you know the story of Lyle and Eric Menendez? I certainly thought I did. In 1989, the brothers, aged 21 and 18, respectively, viciously shot and killed their parents in their Beverly Hills home. In 1996, after 2 trials, they were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As is often the case, the story is much more complex than it appears on the surface. Both brothers said they had been essayed physically and emotionally, or physically and emotionally abused for years by their parents. According to Lyle, the abuse started when he was just 6 years old, and Eric said he was by his father for more than a decade. Following years of abuse and a real fear for their lives, Eric and Lyle chose what they thought at the time was their only way out, an unimaginable way to escape their living nightmare. Their first trial was heard before 2 separate juries, one for each brother. Their abuse claims formed the foundation of their defense, with family members testifying on the behalf. After hearing this evidence, over half of the 24 jurors voted not guilty on the murder charges, resulting in a hopelessly deadlocked jury and mistrials, widely seen as a blow to the LA District Attorney Office. Soon, the Menendez brothers' case would continue to play out amid another high-profile murder case prosecuted by the same DA's office. More than 4 months after the Menendez mistrials, O.J. Simpson was charged with the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman, which was about the same time that I remember watching that when I was in, I think it was history class. I remember my teacher would put that on so we could watch it. Then 8 days after Simpson's acquittal, opening arguments began in Eric and Lyle's second trial. However, this time the judge has changed the rules. Both brothers were tried together before a single jury. Much of the abusive evidence was deemed inadmissible, and manslaughter was no longer an option. What I heard was that judge was out to basically the judge was ruthless, is what I heard. During that second trial, he was ruthless, and he was just he just wanted to get a verdict. He didn't care basically if they were innocent or not. Some witnesses from the first trial were barred from testifying about the alleged abuse, depriving the jurors of critical evidence. The prosecutors, having successfully argued to exclude the abuse testimony, mocked the brothers' defense during his closing argument for not producing any evidence of abuse. Their lawyer has since said the judge's ruling essentially acted as a directed verdict, which they also they did show this in the Netflix series as well. They showed the judge, as ruthless, like he was basically he was one-sided in that show. I don't know how true to life it was, because again, it was from the monster show. But the way that they depicted that judge was basically what I've heard, what I've seen on different articles, that the judge just wanted a verdict, and he was ruthless, and he was one-sided. Like he didn't care about their side. He just was he was like more on the one-sided, basically. And so the brothers were convicted. They were sentenced to life without the possibility of parole and have remained incarcerated for almost 35 years. Their only way out of prison now is death. The first trial was televised for all to see, and Eric and Lyle's case became entertainment for the nation. Their suffering, stories of abuse ridiculed in skits on Saturday Night Live. The media turned the brothers into monsters and sensationalized eye candy. Two, excuse me, two arrogant rich kids from Beverly Hills who killed their parents out of greed. There was no room for empathy, let alone sympathy. But they did go on a spending spree. So why else? That kind of makes it suspicious. I mean, you just killed your parents, and you're also saying the reason why you killed them was because this happened, but then why would you do this? Like, why would they go on a spending spree? That would be the least of my worries. You know what I mean? I would have not taken, I would be concerned about what I just did. I mean, that's how I would see it. That would affect me more than probably, if that happened to me, that would kill me. Like if I ever did, I would never do that. But I mean, if I was ever in that situation, which I never will be, um, that would be the least of what I would be thinking. Eric and Lyle, and this is in the words of Kim K, again, Kim Kardashian. Eric and Lyle had no chance of a fair trial against this backdrop. Back then, there were limited resources for victims of SA, particularly for boys. There were virtually no systems in place to support survivors, and public awareness of the trauma of male SA was minimal, often clouded by preconceived judgment and homophobia. Can anyone honestly deny that the justice system would have treated the Menendez sisters more leniently? Despite overwhelming family testimony and acknowledging the abuse Eric and Lyle suffered, the public remained skeptical, robbed of their childhoods by their parents, then robbed of any chance of freedom by a criminal justice system eager to punish them without considering the contents or understanding the why, and without caring about whether the punishment fit the crime. Eric and Lyle were condemned before the trial even began. I mean, their actions kind of spoke loudly. According to Eric and Lyle, they were physically, sexually, and emotionally abused by their parents since childhood, and their father repeatedly argued them when they were just little boys. Many believe the crimes the brothers committed are unforgivable, but what about the decades of alleged abuse they suffered as children? I've spent time with Lyle and Eric. They are not monsters. They are kind, intelligent, and honest men. In prison, they both have exemplary disciplinary records. They have earned multiple college degrees, worked as caregivers for elderly incarcerated individuals in hospice, and been mentors in college programs committed to giving back to others. Well, I mean, that's good for them, but honestly, what else can you do if you're in prison? You kind of have to make the best of your time. And they have plenty of time, so that's good that they've used their time wisely. Probably given the resources, because they're I feel like it's kind of sad that prisoners can get an education, and we can't in some ways without paying for it. But that's the sign of the times, unfortunately. But good for them for choosing to make the best of their situation. When I visited the prison 3 weeks ago, one of the wardens told me he would feel comfortable having them as neighbors. 24 family members, including their parents' siblings, have released statements fully supporting Lyle and Eric and have respectfully requested that the justice system free them. The killings are not excusable. I want to make that clear, nor is their behavior before, during, or after the crime, but we should not deny who they are today in their 50s. The trial and punishment these brothers received were more befitting a serial killer than two individuals who endured years of SA by the very people they loved and trusted. I don't believe that spending their entire natural lives incarcerated was the right punishment for the complex case. Had this crime been committed and trialed today, I believe the outcome would have been dramatically different. Well, yeah, because the district attorney we have, girl. I've also strongly believed that they were denied a fair second trial, and that the exclusion of crucial abuse evidence denied Eric and Lyle the opportunity to fully present their case, further undermining the fairness of their conviction. With their case back in the spotlight, and considering the revelation of a 1988 letter from Eric to his cousin describing the abuse, which I did see, my hope is that Eric and Lyle Menendez's life sentence are reconsidered. We owe it to those little boys who lost their childhoods, who never had a chance to be heard, helped, or saved. Wendy goes, prisoners can fool the system and they are given an education and three squared in shelter. See, that's the sad thing. I feel like, yeah, they're given an education. I'm glad that they took it because some of this, I'm pretty, there's some people in there that are like, F that crap. I'm not going to do that. But I'm glad they took it. I'm glad that they made, they're doing better choices than the choices that they did when they were young. It shows that they grew. But it's kind of sad that prisoners have that access and we have to pay for that. You know what I mean? And then I get what you're saying, Wendy, too. They get free housing in a way too. So it sucks for us, for some of us that want a higher education, but we can't afford it. Rochelle goes, yeah, don't get me started on that. The guy sent to prison has it easier in some ways than I do. I feel like they do. It's sad to think of it that way. They committed a crime. They don't have to worry about bills. They get fed. You might be put in there with some psychopaths, but sometimes it's better off than some people that have to live in their car and they're working hard to save money to get shelter or to even eat. Julissa goes, they sound like psychopaths to me. Jennifer Marie goes, prison jail should be rehabilitate anyways. I do agree with that. If you can't learn from your time there, then you were always, obviously there's some people like some of these serial killers that we had, like Bundy, for example. Those guys would never, a guy like him would never life in prison. He would always think that he did nothing wrong. I feel like he was one of those guys that like, I didn't do that. That was not me type of person, even though he talks about, and I think he did admit to some of the killings as well. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but he just seems like the way he talked about it. I've seen a documentary on him. He's like so nonchalant when he talks about it. Like it's not like it was like he was riding a bike down the street when he talks about it. So I feel like a guy like him would never learn with the time. Randy goes, jails are not set up for prisoners to succeed. Gunner Girl goes, they definitely need counseling in addition to jail time. I know they do have that access, I believe. Jennifer Murray goes, I believe the abuse claims, but they should have consequences to murdering their parents. The argument now is, have they served long enough? That comes up to my next article. The reason Kim K kind of told you a little bit about what happened. They were convicted of the murder of their parents in 1996, I believe, but the crime occurred in 1989 of Jose and Kitty Menendez. They did claim that they were essayed by their dad. And it seemed like Kitty knew about it, but didn't do anything about it. So that was their case. But ultimately in the second trial, they were convicted by a judge that was ruthless. He seemed like he was one-sided. But what brings me back to it today and why I decided to talk about it was this next article that I am going to bring up. Randy goes, will the real truth about what happened ever come? I don't think so, because we're never going to know, because we only know the side of the brothers, because unfortunately Jose and Kitty are no longer with us, so we will never know their story. Randy, true, you make a point. I won't judge. I've not walked in their shoes. I couldn't even imagine. Lisa Boo goes, do you believe in that? I'm not sure. I feel like I need more information. That letter coming out does put more kind of puts me on the SA side that they did get it, but I still feel like they do need to serve time because they did commit a crime. They did I get it. Some people, they go through a lot and this is what happens, but there's some people that go through that and don't end up killing as well. So I mean, it just Julissa goes, they shouldn't be freed. It's sad if they did go through what they claimed, but they shouldn't have taken justice into their own hands. That's what I'm saying. There's people that have been through horrible situations that didn't take justice into their own hands. But there are people that do, that have. And I've seen many stories like that. Emily goes, seems like they always use the abuse motive, but where's the proof? It's hearsay without actual evidence. Jennifer Maria goes, not everyone in prison is an evil person. I will always support prison reform to be more rehabilitative, to increase chances of not reoffending. Unfortunately, that's not where the money, so it's a no-go. I mean, obviously, that's what you want in the end game. Obviously, you obviously want to send someone there to learn from their mistakes and be able to become a productive person of society. You want that. You obviously want that. Anybody, like if I did something bad, obviously I would own up to it. I would serve the crime, but then I would probably, I'm the type of person that would learn from my mistakes. But there's some people that don't. There's some people that are like career criminals. I am not sure why they are. I want to say it's because being outside is scary. Because when you're outside, you don't have someone feeding you, you don't have a roof over your head. Some of these people don't. You don't have a roof over your head. You don't have someone feeding you. You don't have that person watching you. You don't have like that kind of, I guess, discipline. Um, you would say when you come out here, it all changes. It all comes on you. You have to get a roof over your head. You have to feed yourself. You have to get a job. You have to do this. So I think for some people, it's scary. They rather be in, I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like maybe that's a possibility. There's some people that just rather stay in jail because of um, the outside world is scary, which I could see. If I was given a free roof over my head, I didn't have to worry about bills and I had food, I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. And then have resources like if I got hurt, I could talk, or if I needed someone to talk to, they have resources. They still have resources, I'm pretty sure, when they're on the outside, but it's still, I feel like it's scarier for them when they go out there. So some people will recommit a crime to get back in. And it's not because they didn't learn from their lesson. It's just they don't want to be on the outside. Heather, whatever goes right, Lisa, it's like they're flood survivors without cameras telling their story. Exactly. Jennifer Murray goes, when the prisons are for profit, there's no motivation to address the reasons for reoffending. Dusty goes, I don't think anyone who commits murder has a conscience, even if they were wronged. Justice is through the system. Wendy goes, abuse takes a plan of escape done did 100%. So the reason why I'm talking about it today is because our district attorney, Gascon, is investigating new evidence, new essay evidence in Menendez murder case and victory for the brothers. So could this mean they could be released? And Gascon is notorious for letting people go, for giving people slap on the wrist. So like, I feel like, in my opinion, I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but I feel like it's a possibility. I believe this article doesn't say it, but there's an article in TMZ. I think there's a hearing is scheduled for November 29th to reevaluate their case. So more than 3 decades out after Eric and Lau Menendez killed their parents in a sensational murder case that captivated the nation, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon said Thursday that his office will review what he describes as new evidence that the brothers were a move that could lead to their resentencing. Gascon said there was no question the brothers committed the murder, but said the issue was whether the jury heard evidence that their father molested them. Evidence detailing SA was presented during the brothers' first trial, which ended in a hung jury, but was largely withheld during their second trial, where they were convicted and sentenced in life in prison, which is what was said in the previous article. We're not at this point ready to say we believe or do not believe that information, Gascon said, but we're here to tell you that we have a moral and ethical obligation to review what is being presented to us and make a determination. The process could pave the way for the brothers to be retried, sentenced to a lesser prison term, or released from custody, Gascon said. He had not made a final decision. In 1989, Eric and Lyle Menendez bought a pair of huge pew-pews with cash, walked into their Beverly Hills home, and shot their parents while they watched a movie in the family living room. Prosecutors said Jose Menendez was struck 5 times, including in the back of the head, and Kitty Menendez crawled on the floor wounded before the brothers reloaded and fired a final fatal shot. According to, I don't know how accurate the Netflix series is, but according to that, Lyle delivered the final shots on both the parents. Initially, police speculated the killings were a mafia hit based off the gruesome scenes. Also because the father's from Cuba, that's why they were thinking maybe the mafia was coming after him. Eric and Lyle Menendez were eventually charged with the murder after Eric, who was 18 years old, confessed to the killings to his therapist in March of 1990. He couldn't take it anymore. It was affecting him, so he finally opened up to his therapist, and we all know that therapists have that patient confidentiality. Well, this one didn't, and he spilled the beans. Prosecutors argued the brothers' motivation in the killing was simple to gain access to their parents' multi-million-dollar estate, but the brothers' defense attorneys countered that years of violent SA at the hands of their father preceded the shootings, justifying the killings as a form of self-defense. Gascon's announcement comes more than a year after Eric and Lyle Menendez filed a writ of habeas corpus asking the court to vacate their 1996 conviction, citing new evidence. A hearing on the habeas corpus is expected to be held on November 26. Gascon said he wanted to bring finality to the case by the time the hearing was held, but did not say that his review would be completed by then. They're obviously looking at it closely, which is great, said Cliff Garner, one of the attorneys representing the brothers. I'm encouraged by it because I think that anyone that takes a look at that evidence is going to walk away with the understanding those boys were molested as children. Garner said since the filing last year, prosecutor had asked the court several times to push back the date of the hearing in order to review the case. Despite the length of time it's taken for a decision to be reached, he said he found it to be encouraging. The fact that they're taking their time lets me know they're taking it seriously, he said. The petition pointed to evidence from a Peacock docuseries, which I have not seen, Menendez and Menudo Boys Betrayed, which raised allegations that Jose Menendez essayed a former underage member of a 1980s pop band, Menudo, which I heard. The 3-part, I didn't even know that was there. So if you guys have Peacock and want to catch this one, the Menendez and Menudo Boys Betrayed, you can check that one out too. The 3-part series reported by journalists Neri Yinklin and Robert Rand alleged that the creator of the internationally known music group, Eduardo Diaz, took one of the underage members of the band to Jose Menendez's New Jersey home, where he was and drugged by the elder Menendez. In the docuseries, Ro Rossellio and he was 13 or 14 years old at the time and suggested the trip was to help seal a deal between the band and RCA Records, where Jose Menendez worked as an executive. This new evidence is indisputable, Yinklin told the Times on Thursday, and Lyle and Eric's life didn't end that horrible day. The journalist added that the two brothers have been model prisoners and led rehabilitation program for other inmates, which in the Kim K article was mentioned. After 34 years, it's past due to show these victims of incest the mercy they deserve. The brothers' petition states that new allegations of SA back their argument that the murders were an act of self-defense after facing years of abuse by their parents and fears that their parents would kill them if they told. The petition also details a recently discovered letter that defense attorneys says was written by Eric Menendez 8 months before the 89 shooting that suggests essay by his father continued into his late teenage years, which I did see that. I never know when it's going to happen, and it's driving me crazy. The letter submitted in court filings reads, every night I stay up thinking he might come in. The brothers' first trial, which kind of made me kind of inch toward the fact that maybe the essay, this what they were saying is there's some truth to it. The brothers' first trial, which include testimony detailing the abuse, ended in 2 hung juries. In the second trial, much of the evidence of the abuse was excluded according to the habeas petition. Prosecutors argued at the time of the allegations of abuse were a total fabrication. The news comes on the heels of another show based on the Menendez, an 8-part dramatic series on Netflix called Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Again, if you guys haven't checked that out, it is on Netflix. I think it's number 2. The last time I looked, it might have changed by now. The show focuses on the events leading up to the killings and the cultural moment in LA in which the brothers face murder charges. Last month, Eric Menendez's wife, and yes, Eric Menendez is married. He's been married to Tammy for quite some time. Tammy Menendez posted a statement on social media from him about the series and how the brothers were depicted, calling it inaccurate, and that Lyle's depiction was a caricature that was rooted in horrible and blatant lies. Monster co-creator Ryan Murphy defended himself in an interview with The Times last month. I think it's Fox outrage. He says, I think that this story, this Netflix series, is the best thing that happened to the Menendez brothers in 30 years because it's getting people to talk about it and it's getting people to ask the questions that are important. True what he's saying, but at the same time, if he's not depicting what the actual story is, then that's kind of messed up. And that's what I had a problem with it. I felt like it wasn't depicting, as I said earlier, wasn't depicting the truth. And that's where I'm divided. I can't really believe what that's saying because I don't know if what is real and what isn't. The renewed spotlight of the case has prompted support for the incarcerated brothers. Kim K, as I had read, Kim Kardashian visited them in prison 3 weeks ago and penned a personal essay in which she called the brothers kind, intelligent, and honest men and said their sentences should be reconsidered. I believe also the actors in the Netflix series that play Lyle and Eric also visited them as well. We owe it to those little boys who lost their childhood, who never had a chance to be heard, helped, or saved, she wrote. So I don't know what this means. I don't know. I feel like it does mean that they will get freed because of how Gascon is, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if he's going to free them right off or give them 10 more years. I don't know. I don't know what happens, but I feel like because of his track record of letting people go, that it's a possibility that these men could be set free. Dusty goes, the question is, does abuse justify murder? I don't think so, but I get it when you're in a, I kind of understand it because when you're in a desperate situation, not to say I would ever do something like that, and I know there's people that been in these situations and don't go to that length. They go other lengths to get out of it, but I get when you're in that situation, sometimes you don't think straight, and sometimes you feel like that's the only way out. But I don't think it justifies murder at all. I don't. I think there's other ways of getting around it. I know what I've heard about people, what I've seen about people when they're in situations like that, like they're scared, like they're afraid to tell people because their abuser tells them not to tell anybody. But eventually they could have told someone. They were seeing a psychiatrist. You know what I mean? They were seeing a psychiatrist. So I feel like then he could have said something about it before that and saying, hey, this is what's happening. Like, I have to tell someone. But I don't, it doesn't justify murder. I don't think so. Jay Brimble, what is up? Jay Brimble goes, didn't they have family members? They could have, exactly. They could have told someone. I think that new letter that popped up from, I want to say Eric. Uh, he had sent that letter to his cousin. So I mean, if they, where did it go after that? You know what I mean? He could have said something to another, like his uncle, to his. You know what I mean? You didn't have to go that far. No matter what, they kind of painted him as a perfectionist, like he wanted his boys to be this, this, and this, and this. That's rough. If you've ever been with a parent that wants you to be a perfectionist, wants you to be the best at everything you do, and nothing you did was right, that makes I totally understand that that could get you like this, like he doesn't love me, like he doesn't do this. That's another form of um abuse as well. But that's how they're painting him in that. But I don't, like I said, because of that series, I don't know what's real or not. Chris goes, is Kim K gonna represent him? No, she doesn't have I don't think she has any degree to even represent anybody. Randy goes, I never resonated with the Kardashian clan. I didn't either. Chris goes, what does Kim know? After all, she married a psycho herself. That's how I feel. I feel like the Kardashians, I'm not gonna say, this is my opinion. I feel like basically where they got where they were at because of their looks, because of that show that they had, because maybe they have a brand, like they built themselves up. But I feel like I don't know, they're just someone I Matthew goes, not sure she would know when she sucks at choosing men to be with. Oh, Julissa said Kim Kardashian took the bar exam. Not sure if she passed. Okay, well, I didn't know. Not to say that's how I see them and that's how I've seen them. Like I feel like they got um because they modeled, because they did this, they started their own brand. I mean, mind you, they do have their own businesses and stuff like that, which nothing wrong with that, but still, it's they're not someone I look up to, in other words. Oh, Tirana goes, Kim passed the bar. Chris Bird. Okay, so she passed it. But I mean, it did say she's like an advocate. Chris goes, she passed the baby bar. I don't really follow them, so I don't know exactly uh a lot about them. I kind of, like I said, I don't really look up to them, so I'm like, so do you guys think that they are innocent and should be free, or do you think they should stay in time? And I know some of you had said it before, but do you think that um they should be freed and serve their time that they have served, which I believe was 35 years, or should they remain in prison for what they did? Gunner Girl goes, Kim is a lawyer. She studied and took the bar exam. Not sure if she passed though. I think she also is an advocate for people wrongfully in prison. She already got several people out. Okay, well, I mean, she does. I know they've done other stuff that I don't know about, but okay. I mean, if she got people out, that's good for her. She's following in her father's footsteps. Bernadette goes, I passed the bar too, but I came home instead. Rochelle thinks they should be free. I don't know. I'm kind of I don't know. I'm torn. Like I still need to hear more evidence. I think I still need to hear a case against them type of thing to make a decision. I mean, the way I feel more the way that they showed Eric, like Lyle was kind of bullying him and manipulating him, I feel more for Eric, so because I feel like he got manipulated into it, but I don't know, he might have been, they kind of showed a little bit at the end that um he kind of was in it too. So I don't like, I need more information. Lisa Boo goes, they did a bad thing, so no, shouldn't be let out. Feel bad if they were abused, but doesn't make it right. True. Very true. Randy goes, I looked it up. You must pass the bar exam in order to represent an acquaintance. I think that is BS. That is BS. That means I can pass the bar exam and represent someone. Not that I want to. I mean, it's probably not easy. I always see those videos. I don't think it's easy though to pass it. To be honest with you, I don't think it's an easy. Uh, you technically have to like probably really take a class and all that kind of stuff to pass it and know the information. Nerd Report! Thank you for that super sticker. Hearts for Nerd Report, guys. Thank you, Nerd Report. Heather Whatever goes, yes, I got that feeling from the cases. Didn't see the Netflix. Dusty goes, what is the punishment for murder? I do think they did it. Are they remorseful now? But at the end, what is justice? Exactly. Because in the end, Kitty and Jose Menendez lost their lives. I don't think they deserved it. I don't think anybody deserved it, no matter what they did. And two, I'm with you on that. That's why I'm 50-50, Randy, because two, everyone deserves a chance to redeem themselves. So it's like, that's why I'm 50-50. Like, I agree that justice needs to be served. Their parents, it was not fair what happened to them. I don't know if the, allegations are true. If it is, it's sad, but it doesn't justify what the outcome was. Nerd Report, thank you for gifting 1 membership. Welcome, Eastern Arkansas Transparency, back to the Wolfpack. Hearts for Nerd Report. Thank you, Nerd Report, again. Heather Whatever goes, JFK Jr. failed the bar several times, finally passed. Jay Brimble goes, what were both their ages when it said 18 and 21, if I'm not mistaken. Nerd Report, thank you for gifting another membership. Welcome, hug back to the Wolfpack. And Gunner Girl, thank you for your super sticker. Hearts for Nerd Report again. And Gunner Girl, thank you both. You guys are awesome. And Lyle was arrested first, and then Eric was a few days later. And they both are married currently. Believe it or not. I think Lyle got married twice, and then Eric has been with the same woman, Tammy. And I condemn her for being with a guy in prison that may never get out. She doesn't get to have like a real life with them, so I condemn her. I give her props for that, but I would never want to do that. Nerd Report, thank you again for another gifted membership. Welcome back, Kyle, to the Wolfpack. Hearts again for Nerd Report. Thank you. Randy goes, I feel anyone should be able to represent you. You are allowed to represent yourself. I'm pretty sure they were able to pick who they wanted to represent them. So true. Nerd Report goes, who's gonna match me? I don't know, guys. Would any of you marry ladies? Would any of you marry someone in prison? I get it. You can't help who you love sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. Because think, if you're married to someone in prison, um, you can't have the certain things that you can when you don't marry a person that's not in prison. Dusty, thank you for your super chat. Always enjoy my evenings with you, my chill time. Thank you, Dusty. Hearts for Dusty, guys. Gunner Girl goes, nope. Heather Whatever's like, heck no. Chris is like, no damn way. I would not personally. So I always give those women props. Cause I don't know, they're dedicated. They are dedicated to so that is dedication. Tyranna goes, no. Heather, whatever, in California, you could get conjugal visits, but don't know now. The brothers do not. I know Eric does not get, because I saw an interview. It's an old interview that they had with his wife Tammy, and she said she doesn't get conjugal visits. Getting tongue twisted there. Dusty goes, no way. Marriage is a partnership. Jennifer goes, sorry, there was a spider in my room. What was the question? Would you marry a person in prison? I would not, personally. Jay Brimble goes, Kim passed the baby bar. She's not yet a licensed attorney. Thank you, Jay Brimble. I do not follow her, so I don't know like all the nitty gritty on her. Randy goes, it's her story. Well, I'm just asking. Randy, if you don't like it, you can leave. I'm asking people a question. I'm not making fun of her. I don't know where you heard me making fun of her. I'm giving her props. If you don't like it, you can leave. I'm just asking a question. I have a right to ask a question. If you don't like, and it's my show. If you don't like it, leave. Like, I wasn't talking crap about her one bit. I'm just saying, would you? Did I say anything bad about her? I didn't. Like, come on. Really? I have a right to ask a question. I'm just curious. I'm getting conversation. That's what you're part of. I'm trying to asking a question. I'm just wondering. I know I personally wouldn't. I'm not making fun of her. I give people props that do that because that's dedication to be in love with someone that you can't be with. But I just wondered if anyone would be willing to do it. So I'm putting that question out there. Nerd Report goes, what was the question? Would you marry or date anyone that was in prison? I personally wouldn't. Nerd Report goes, F that, marry a non-criminal. Most everyone say no. Bird Report's going, what a dumb person. There's a lot of people that do that, unfortunately. I don't know what the appeal to it is, but there's a lot of women that do that. Chris goes, I've never known anyone who has been in prison. Same here. I have not, personally. Heather, whatever goes, full-time law program typically requires 3 years beyond college. Then the bar, difficult test. That's what I heard. I heard that it's not easy. Nerderberg goes, the appeal is being dumb. Rochelle goes, I wish I didn't know. Jennifer Bree goes, some people make choices out of desperation that lead them into prison. It doesn't make them inherently unlovable. Lisa Boo goes, Jennifer Marie, make a point. Lisa Boo goes, yes, some women like bad boys or like the mystique of it all the serial unaliver groupies. True. Maybe it's too because they know they have issue. I don't know. I'm gonna take this out there. Maybe they have an issue with trust and knowing that your man or woman is in prison. Um, and you know that they can't go anywhere else. Maybe that's the deal. I don't know. Jennifer Marie goes, I have loved ones who have been and other currently in prison. They are still people worthy of love. I wouldn't disown a person if I knew them. Um, I Jennifer Marie, I wouldn't disown them. It's just something I probably wouldn't do. Like if I had a loved one in there, I wouldn't disown them. Like if a family member, I wouldn't disown them. Depending on what they did. But still, I think I would still. Dusty goes, no, Lisa, they have relationships. I know that. But I'm thinking of it. I don't know. I know that, Dusty. But I'm thinking more of like maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. Like to be honest with you. Randy goes, maybe what if I knew them before they got in? What are they in for? I think for me it would depend on the circumstances. Chris Barber goes, only bad boy I ever dated was a biker, and that ain't even bad. Jennifer Marie goes, would I strike up a jail pen pal? Probably not, but I don't think it's insane that someone in prison should get married. I don't think it's insane. I feel like they do have a right, but it's just I don't it's just something it's something I wouldn't do, and I feel like that would cause a lot of you don't get the, like companionship, I would say, when you marry someone in prison. But I don't condemn I don't I they deserve it. It's I don't, to each his own. And if I knew someone in prison, I would give them my support. I probably wouldn't agree with what they did. But I would support them. Like, but Jennifer Marie, you do make a point. Like, they deserve to be loved. It's not they have that right. Brandon goes, Diddy's gonna haunt whatever prison he ends up in. Maybe he can marry someone there. Go, God. Gunner Girl goes, Brian Kohlberger has a lot of women wanting to marry him. Go figure. I've heard that. I've heard that about other people too as well. It's not just them. I've heard it about other people. That's why I've always wanted to know why. Jennifer Marie, I agree. Also, the majority of people in prison are not evil. They're not Ted Bundy, because I'm thinking more of the Ted Bundy type of people. Yeah, you're right, Jennifer. They're not. They were young and stupid and did something dumb and weren't thinking. No, I agree with you on that one. I'm thinking more of like the Ted Bundy type of person where that guy didn't care. He didn't give an F, in other words. But I agree with you, Jennifer Marie. Very true. Heather Whatever goes, I had a climber friend who went to prison on a nasty on the white stuff. He became a bad person. I felt for his girlfriend. That can do it too. All right, right, guys, I have an article that I'm going to share and then I'll open it up for I'm still going to squeeze a little spooky into this stream. Bernadette shared an article with me. I've never heard of them. I thought it was kind of interesting about the Pendle witches. I've never heard of them. And then after this article, I'll open it up for questions. If you guys have a story, an article, I did not see Joanne. Joanne sent me a video, but unfortunately it's a YouTube video and I can't post it because just to protect myself, I don't want it to flag to the other person and that person decides that he doesn't want his video shared and flag me. But I did get it. But if you guys do have a story, article or whatnot you'd like to share it, I may share it on my next on one of my live streams. You can email graysonreport at 13@gmail.com. Again, that's graysonreport13@gmail.com. Carol goes, my younger brother was in when he was a teenager. Didn't stop me from visiting him every week while he was in. Yeah, I mean, I would, if it was a loved one, I would be there for them. I mean, I wouldn't agree with what they did, and it might, especially if it was a crime where they murdered someone. I probably wouldn't. I would be kind of. It'd be hard for me to support them, but I would try. So this is the Pendle witches never die. They confessed and they were never recanted more than 400 years after the most famous witchcraft trial in British history. I mostly talk about, when I do talk about the witch trials, I talk about the Salem witch trials. I've never spoke about the British witch trials, so this is kind of interesting. The story of the Pendle witches live on, still haunting some of the strangest walking country in England. Pendle Hill hangs heavy over a stark and empty East Lancashire landscape of heath and high moors that modern hikers and cyclists find strangely beautiful. Here's what I jotted down in my notebook when I passed over it on the Ribblehead Viaduct on the Settle to Carl Ziles Railway. I know I'm butchering that one. Carlisle. It's kind of like from it's kind of similar to what's his face on Twilight. Carlisle Railway. Traveling through completely abandoned country, bleak, alien, monochromatic, and strangely beautiful. Pictured that landscape on a cold winter afternoon, scoured by winds under a heavy sky beneath the broadening 557-meter bulk of Pendle Hill. Beautiful area. A world ready for a witch trial. Now imagine, if you will, the same landscape in the winter of 1612. No lights, scarce food and warmth, remote, suspicious, and cut off from the rest of the world. After the destruction of the monasteries during the English Reformation, the region was left with little spiritual guidance and no regular clergy. Lancashire still hid pockets of secret Catholics, and in England under the fiercely Protestant James I, the rituals of Catholicism and even a whiff of its Latin tongue were often branded as witchcraft. Fear of and belief in witchcraft flourished in the atmosphere, and as I've always said, if you believed in something else or did something out of the ordinary, back then people automatically thought you were a witch. And I feel bad for some of these people because I feel like these people were probably just ordinary people and they didn't deserve their outcome or what people believed or thought they were. Who were the Pendle witches? The story of the Pendle witch trial is one of the most famous and well-documented episodes of witchcraft hysteria in English history. From March of 1612, when the episode began with a roadside incident and a naive confession, to August, when it ended with the execution of hanging of 7 women and 2 men, and the death of 80-year-old woman in the dungeons of Lancaster Castle. An atmosphere of jealousy, fear, accusations, rumors of devil worship, witches, sabbaths, and murder gripped Pendle and surrounding villages in the shadow of the hill. The so-called witches were among the poorest people in the community, members of 2 competitive families headed by elderly matriarchs, social outcasts who existed on the edge, and some may have had physical deformities or mental handicaps. They lived by begging, casting spells and curses, and kept starvation at bay by what amounted to an early 17th century protection scheme. People in the village had long tolerated them and often gave them what they wanted rather than risk being cursed. And unlike the Salem witches, who always protested their innocence and who were pardoned in mass within a decade of the infamous Massachusetts trials, most of the Pendle witches believed in their own powers. No one was ever pardoned, and none of the communities involved ever repented of the trials and executions. How it started. According to contemporary reports, Alison Device, granddaughter of her family's matriarch, the witch known as Old Demdike, had an encounter on the road with a peddler over some pins she refused to pay for. She called on her familiar, a black dog, and cursed the peddler. When the man collapsed, paralyzed on the road a few steps further along, she believed she had caused it. Modern writers guess he had a stroke. When she was later accused, she confessed and sought her victim's forgiveness. It's likely that what happened next was set off by competition of local dominance between Old Dem Dickies or Demdikes. I do apologize if I'm pronouncing that or butchering that family, and the family of the other 80-year-old matriarch Anne Whittle, known as Old Chaddocks. Soon one accusation followed another. Curses and deaths going back decades were attributed to the men and women of two families and their associates. And since the casting of minor spells and curses were part of the fabric of everyday life in the area, many of the accused confessed to casting spells and believed they were effective. The Star Witness, the public hysteria, claims and counterclaims, dragging up old cases of mysterious deaths, one defendant testifying against another, and cases of child abuse were not different from many other witchcraft trial. But what made this case special and especially evil was the Star Witness, a 9-year-old Janet Device. That is a weird last name, Device. She was the daughter of Elizabeth Device, one of the accused. During the trials in Lancaster Castle, the child was lifted onto a table in the courtroom. There she stood and related the various ways in which she knew her mother was a witch. She named and identified the people present at a meeting in a place called the Malkin Tower. Local gossip and the judges considered this meeting a witch's Sabbath. Eventually, Elizabeth Device was one of the 10 witches from the Pendle area convicted and hanged, largely on the testimony of a child who also testified against her grandmother, brother, and sister. Just imagine if your own child testified against you for being a witch. Whoa. The trial set the precedence of allowing a child to testify to witness witchcraft that was later cited in the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts. Walking with Witches, visit Lancaster if you guys are in that area, has put together a series of self-guided tours, which I would love to go one day. I would love to go to England, Scotland, and Ireland one day, that you can follow on foot, bicycle, or by car. The tour takes you through the atmospheric village and landscapes that feature so prominently in the Pendle witch stories. The Visit Lancashire Witches website has downloadable brochures and maps for Pendle Witches car trial, Pendle Hill walks, and the Walking with Witches trial. That sounds so cool. If spending time outdoors in Britain, most haunted places appeals to you, especially as indoor ghost haunts are off limits during, this must be an older article. Check out my recommendations. Another claim to fame, the mysterious Broding Hill that played such prominent role in the witchcraft episode as another claim to fame. In 1652, George Fox felt compelled to climb to the top of the hill. There he had a vision which led to his founding of the Quaker moment. That was a pretty cool story. Thank you, Bernadette. Julissa, I have not seen that yet. That is on my list. It piqued my interest, but I haven't watched it yet. She's asking, has anybody watched Mayfair Witches? Jay Brimble has heard of them, but can't remember their story. Dusty goes, a child that testified probably saw disturbing things. Just imagine being convicted by your own kid. But then a child usually does not lie, but sometimes they do if the parents convince them to. But I feel like, oh my gosh, she convicted her mother, grandmother, and brother. That is crazy. And kids are capable of lying, but I feel like they are capable of lying. I do agree with you that, but I feel like too some kids don't, but some kids do. Bernadette goes, she ratted on. She did. Carol, I'm glad you were there for your brother. Um, even though he was in prison, but I'm glad that you were there for him. Randy goes, I agree with you. Interview the brothers separately, see if their story matches up to their original story. I agree. Again, there is going back to the Menendez brothers, there is I did mention it before, but on Netflix is going to have another documentary. This is more of a documentary on, I think it comes out August 7th, don't quote me. And it looks like they actually interview Lyle and Eric in it. So it's going to be more, it's not going to be like the monster show. Carol goes, kids are so impressionable. They believe what they are told, sometimes true. Heather, whatever goes, President Nixon was a Quaker. Rochelle goes, you know what? True. Plot twist. She was the only actual witch. Wouldn't that be wild? Get the attention. Hey, she was smart then. Get the attention off yourself. Randy goes, what happened when they exactly? Well, obviously they didn't, because there was no one else to corroborate her story. Not that I know of. I don't know, because it doesn't go in depth, but so the Wayfarer witchers or witches, Mayfair. Oh my god, the Mayfair witches is worth watching, and that I think is on, where is that on Netflix? I saw it, but I don't remember where it was on. I think it's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. I will. It is on my list. I've been passing through it, and I keep going, no, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this. Thank you, Heather, whatever, for your PayPal. Hearts for Heather, whatever, guys. Hearts for Heather, whatever. Thank you, Heather, whatever, and everyone. Julissa goes, I think it's on Prime and Apple TV. Chris, it's the sign of the times, so we're going to see those. Chris was like, I hate political ads. I don't blame you. I can't stand them either. All right, guys, I'm going to open up for questions if you guys have, and then we're going to head over to, I believe DJ Lewis Love is in the mix over there at Twitch. We're going to head over there. If you guys do have Twitch, check it out. I know some of you don't. So if you guys have Twitch and you follow DJ Lewis Love, he is in the mix. I just checked right now. Sorry for the earthquake. because I'm touching my laptop. But he is in the mix right now. So after this, we are going to go check him out. Excuse me, guys. If you guys have any questions, I am going to open it up for questions. Feel free to ask. And then, like I said, we'll head over to DJ Lewis Love on Twitch. If you have Twitch, I will drop it in the link. And as always, guys, I forgot to tell you at the beginning, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. I'll give you a few more minutes and I'll reveal his location. Thank you, Gunner Girl, for reminding me. I forgot to say anything. I went straight into the articles. All right, I dropped. After this, we are going to head over to Lewis Love on Twitch. If you guys have Twitch, thank you, Rochelle. Great live, Lisa. I'll give you a few more minutes to find the Skeleduck. If you guys do not know who Skeleduck is, I'm pretty sure all y'all know, but I will show his picture anyway. He is pictured in the upper left-hand corner, might be your upper right-hand corner. That is what he looks like. He is somewhere in my background, and I'll give you a few more minutes. Thank you, Lisa Boo. Great show. Jalissa was a great stream. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jalissa. I appreciate that. Jennifer Murray goes, how much fun do you have hiding? I mean, sometimes I run out of locations, but what I do is I'll look in my camera and I'll be like, where can I put them? Like while I'm sitting in my chair, and I'm like, oh, I've never put them over there. I could put them over there, or oh, I haven't put them there. Bernadette, thank you, Ghost Host with the most. Ozzy Walks, what is up? See y'all next time. Have a great weekend. Always love hanging out with y'all. Awesome. Give you a few more minutes. Because I know sometimes it's hard when I have the article up, so I'll give you a few more minutes. Thank you, Tyrana. Thank you, Lisa, for a great stream. Thank you, Matthew. Brandon goes, did you get a new light? It's actually it's a haunted Christmas tree. I had it last year, but I never put it out. I never got a chance to put it out, so I finally put it out. So it's like a haunted Halloween tree. I don't know what you call it. It's like a Christmas tree, but for Halloween. There you go. It kind of Lisa B goes, I like the lights. Thank you. It's kind of it kind of washes it out a bit. I was like, ah. Randy goes, I'm hoping to find a ghost tour in Bisbee. I hope you find one. You should, because there's a lot of them popping up. I know when I search Google, a bunch of them pop up. In my in this my area, but I don't know about your area. Bernadette goes, it's beautiful, Lisa. All right, guys. Skeleduck. You can kind of see him. He's right there. He's right where my finger is. He's peeking behind Hello Kitty. So it's like, oh, wait a minute. He's up here. I'm pointing at the wrong thing. He's up here. So Hello Kitty's right there. Mummy Hello Kitty. And then you got him peeking out. So he's right there, right where my finger is. On my right-hand side, it might be your left-hand side. Right there. You could see his beak coming on the other side of Hello Kitty. Mummy, Hello Kitty. Boss Barry goes, I missed it. What is up? Lisa Boo goes, sneaky, sneaky ducky. Chris Barry goes, I was wrong. Julissa goes, I was wrong. I thought he was on the peeps here. That is a face hugger ornament. The face hugger from Alien. Gunner Girl goes, he was hiding really good. I was gonna hide him more, but then I was like, no, that's kind of mean. Let me push him out a little bit. Carol has a great, very, very detail oriented. She can find anything. If you guys need to find something, ask Carol. She can find it. Boss goes, can you start? I wish. Just catch it on the replay, Boss Barbie. Matthew goes, tricked us, looked like he was under the Halloween tree. All right, guys, any last minute questions? And we're going to head over to Twitch and see DJ Lewis Love in the mix if you guys have Twitch. We're going to head over there after the stream. For those of you, I had put a typo, Lisa. We're going to head over there. All right, guys, if you have no other questions, I am going to end this stream here. Thank you, Randy. Wow, great hiding spot. Bernadette has dropped the link. I've also dropped the link. If you guys have Twitch, we're going to head over to DJ Lewis Love in the Mix. We're going to check out, see what he's mixing over there. And if you guys have no other questions, I am going to end. Thank you, Gunner Girl. Thanks, Lisa. Great stream. You always make me happy. Thank you, Gunner Girl. I appreciate that. We are going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I know I did something a little different. I dubbed today True Crime Thursday. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one, which will be Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there, be squared, stay spooky, guys, and sweet nightmares. And I will see you on the next one, and have a great rest of your week. Good night, guys, and thank you.